All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. 2 minutes before we get to the bottom of the hour, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. I'm excited to be with you on this Wednesday night because here we go again. Or should I say, here we grow again. What an incredible opportunity that we're going to see in here tonight. If you're seeing it for the first time, I strongly suggest you grab a pencil and paper. You're going to want to take some copious notes. Robert Clay out of the Atlanta area, welcome to the platform. It's Lovey Sullivan, welcome to the platform. My good friend Randy Christensen out of Greeley, Colorado, welcome to the platform. And our host for the evening, setting all this up for us, Mr. Fernando Ramirez, my business partner out of Southern California. I'll be joined on the platform tonight, ladies and gentlemen, by my good friend out of South Florida, Mr. Eric Wilner. Listen, this guy is the host of the longest running syndicated real estate radio show in the country. So you're going to get a lot of knowledge tonight. We're going to pour into you. And guys, I'm hoping and praying that you'll see and hear enough tonight to make a decision to join us on this mission, this ministry, this crusade, this movement, because that's what it's become. We've got the answer now to the issues that people are facing. The issue has always been finances, right? How do we position ourselves to have more than enough to get where we need to be and to do the things that we desire to do for ourselves and our family? My name is Gerald W. Parker. There's my man right there out of Southern California. Oh, actually, not California, but South Florida. And listen, he's all over the place. Last week he was in Europe. Who knows what the trip that they're planning for this particular week? Eric, welcome to the platform, sir. I'm not hearing you. You're okay. Unmute. Still not hearing you. Fernando, can we get a sound check, please?
Yeah, we're not able to hear you, Eric. You might want to log out and relog back in, maybe. Try doing that. Yeah, we don't hear
Well,
you.
ladies and gentlemen, while he's doing that, we're going to pull up the PowerPoint presentation. Fernando, once again, man, thank you so much for all that you do, giving us an opportunity to present such a great chance for people to win, because that's what it is, guys. It's a real chance for us to win. And we're excited to be here with you tonight to share the good news as it relates to MWR. So Eric is getting in position. I'm going to get my slides in place. Guys, Heather Brown, welcome to the platform. We've got so many people here tonight, new faces. We're excited to have you here. Guys, Timothy Reed, welcome to the platform. All those who have joined us, we want to say thank you for taking the time out of your schedule. David Sundin, welcome and congratulations on your recent promotion, sir. Well deserved. You've been at it for some time, so congratulations, my friend. But guys, again, this is an exciting evening. We'll give Eric all the time that he needs because we do not do this without him. He and I actually started this platform maybe 2.5 years ago. And here we are still doing it, bringing you some vital information that's going to help you win in your financial life. Mr. Wilner, sound check, sir. I'm still not hearing you, my friend.
How about now? Now I don't hear you. How's that?
Now he's muted.
Now, now I hear you loud and clear. Well, we can definitely say this is a live broadcast, my friend.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can, sir.
Hey guys, this is what happens when you go live. Listen, anything is subject to happen with technology, but that's okay. Winners never quit, quitters never win. And we're going to make this thing happen. So we're going to stay right at it until we get it right. Eric Wilden, once again, welcome to the platform. Ladies and gentlemen, let me again introduce you to my co-host for this session this evening. This young man hails out of South Florida. I'm telling you, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. I've had a chance to meet his father, so I clearly understand now where it all comes from. But he is actually the host of the longest running syndicated real estate radio show in the United States of America. I mean, who would have thought that he could partner with us and willing to plant his flag with us and be a part of these platforms every Wednesday night? Yeah, we are fortunate, no question about it. That's why I told you earlier, grab a pencil and paper. You're going to want to take some notes. We're not going to be before you long, but we're going to provide you with some impactful information. And we've got a real estate expert on the other side with us. It's going to help us really navigate our way through the services that we offer, the compensation plan that we put on the table, and this whole precious metals concept, guys. We have got the fix, no question about it. Eric, listen, when I met you 3 years ago, I think it was, in South Florida, you shared with me these core beliefs that you just hold true to, and you really want everybody that you ever meet to experience it. And talk about that before we launch our platform tonight.
Absolutely. And it's very true. For the last 26 consecutive years, I've been broadcasting the real estate radio show. And one of the core fundamentals of the whole show is the idea that number one, I believe that everyone should own a home. And what's really special about this company here is that they've adopted a very similar core belief. They have provided a program which makes home ownership possible for everyone. You can afford to pay rent, you can afford to own a home. Unlike what big box banks and all the criteria and the limited programs. So that's really important. Number one is I believe that everyone should own a home. And I know everybody won't, but we can certainly try and help as many people who desire that for that to be the case. Number one. Number two, I believe that everyone should have a written plan. You know, it seems like such a basic belief, but I tell you the difference between people who have a written plan and don't have a written plan, whether you call it a financial plan, a life plan, but you gotta have your plan in writing. Our society today has so many distractions and shiny objects that it's hard to stay focused. And unless you have something to refer back to and to a measuring stick to measure to, you're not going to reach the end goal, which, by the way, after all, is a financial freedom, not have to look at the price on the menu every time, not have to worry about how the next rent check, mortgage check is going to be covered. And number three is that I believe firmly that you need to have multiple streams of income. You can't rely on one source alone, and those streams need to be passive income streams. And that's what I talk about on the radio. You know, the reason that we grow up and are supposed to go to school, get good grades, go out and get a safe and secure job. That model is broken right now. And 80% of Americans do not retire financially free, even though we live in the world's largest economy, one of the wealthiest countries in the world. But there's a money game that's being played out there. And unfortunately, most people don't teach, are not taught the rules to the money game. So those are the three beliefs. Number one, own a home. Number two, have a written plan. Number three is multiple streams of passive income. And there you go, Dr. Parker.
Well, listen, that is why this is so important and why this concept with MWR and the partnership sort of fell right into place. I call it the perfect marriage because it lines right up with your core beliefs. And what you talk about is what we have the ability to bring to the table. So that's why I'm so excited, Eric, tonight to talk about MWR. For those of you who don't know, MWR stands for Make Wealth Real. Guys, and I want you to know that we're real serious about this because this is where lifestyle and legacy connect. It's the only lifestyle and legacy company of its kind. This is the first. Yeah, Eric, what is the term that you use when you talk about us being the
It's
first?
a category of one, and that's what it is. It's really a system disruptor. As you're going to see tonight, and you're going to understand why, Dr. Parker and I are so, excited to share this because it's like the Swiss Army knife of finances. I call it the Costco of finances, where you can get great financial advice in bulk and for a lot less than the price of a cup of coffee.
Hey, it's the most amazing concept I've ever seen. So, guys, let's get right into it. Grab your seatbelts because here's the mission, right? To create more financially independent families than any other company in history. So, how do we do it? By helping people make more money without working hard for it. Eric, I kind of like where we're going here. The goal is to help, create more financially independent families than any other company in history. I'm all in on that.
Absolutely. And and the whole structure of how the economy works and the speed at which it works has changed. And so people have to now learn the new rules of the money game. A lot of them are the old rules of the money game, just in different clothes. But here's the neat thing, the founder of this company, a serial entrepreneur, a visionary guy, and he said this is his last hurrah, and his mission to create more financially independent families is how he wants to leave an impact on the world. And the way that he set this company up, I think he's on his way to do exactly that.
No problem, sir. You're absolutely right about that. Listen, we've cracked the code, ladies and gentlemen. So at MWR, we've created a simple, proven way to fast track your financial independence in months or years, not decades, which it takes most people. So, Eric, the keys are what? Leverage and access. That's what we don't have until now.
That is true. It's not that people have been priced out of financial planners. Or I'm sorry, they're not that they've been blocked to have access. They've actually been priced out of these things. People think long and hard, whether to hire a CPA and do tax planning instead of just doing their tax returns. People think twice about hiring a certified financial planner or somebody out there to help them, to guide them to get to their financial goals. And it's that access. And then we're going to talk a little bit about leverage. You see, leverage is what creates the speed. And you can see in my background back here, the 5-year career. Because of what we're doing now with the real estate products, with the mortgage products, with the products that MWR has now brought to the table. Why spend 50 years of your life earning a career and becoming financially dependent when you can actually do it in 5 years simply by following a very clear blueprint?
No question about it, my friend. We've leveled the playing field, and that's what we're bringing to the table, guys. Your all access pass. That's what we've got. We know that you heard Eric talk about the Costco's of financial services. Membership has its privilege, no question. Invitation only on this one, though. Lifestyle and legacy membership for select individuals ready to transform their financial future. Eric, this is our gateway, right? To experts and strategies to help you save and make more money and by them doing all the work for you.
And that's the important part is, we're talking about experts in their respective areas, in the tax area, in the finance and loan areas, in even your everyday bills. But how do you protect yourself against inflation, against all of the different things that happen throughout your life? It's by having experts. That's what the wealthy do. They know that it's not a cost, it's an investment in their future. And now, for the first time, you're seeing this available on a much more accessible level. And that's why I call it the Costco of, our good friend, Mr. Wendell Philp, another great entrepreneur. He has a BJ's membership, he has a Costco membership, he has a Sam's membership. And I go, why do you have all three? And he goes, because it's worth it. I save so much more at these places than the cost of membership that it's worth me having all three, because there's little differences, but they make a big difference on your money at the end of the month.
Here's what's so exciting about that too, Eric, is the fact that this is by invitation only, right? So we are in a unique position to be able to offer to the average everyday person a real chance at transforming their future, financial future. I mean, again, we're stuck trying to turn the corner in many cases because we don't have the access, but that access has been given to us. But again, it's by invitation only. So, I mean, there are millions of people around the country who have yet to hear about MWR, and they're waiting on you to kind of say something about it to bring them the opportunity that they've been looking for, because you just can't go to your yellow pages, and I know that doesn't exist anymore, and just find MWR and sign up. Doesn't happen. You've got to be invited.
That's true. And the same way the people who were around the founders of Google or Facebook or Amazon, there was a select group of the inner circle that was invited, and those people that participated are all set for life. And here you are, you're kind of seeing this at an early stage, okay? Not brand new, okay? This is not something that was born yesterday. The MWR has been around since 2017. So it is a fully debt-free, company that's coming into its stride. Why? Because look what's going on in the marketplace. People are being displaced. People want to work remote. People are looking to be their own boss and have control over their own lives. Having this membership is your all access path to have that presented and prepared for you by the experts. And by the way, here's the cool part. I don't have to be an expert in taxes. I don't have to be an expert in finances. Even though I've got a lot of experience, I've got a Rolodex now of unlimited access to the top experts that whenever I want to make a money decision, I don't have to make it alone anymore. Now I've got the experts on my side.
Wow, never make another bad financial decision again because, as Eric said, you've got the experts now. And guys, that's the key to this thing. We talk about one of a kind. Let's take a look, Eric, at our precious metals platform. Now, this excites me. Why? Because one, let's read it together. It says America's first precious metals rental program. This has never happened before. So we've made precious metals a monthly income producing asset without the risk, without the headaches or skills needed to participate in many other things that we are aware of. Now, at MWR, precious metals are more than just a safe haven to store wealth. Eric, now before you comment, I want to say this about the precious metals. So the old way, right? Before this concept was developed, was that you could buy metals, gold, silver, platinum, palladium, whatever it might be, and you could hold on to it, and it would gain value through appreciation. So it was a tangible asset. But what we've been able to do is take that tangible asset and turn it into a monthly income producing asset. Not only do you take advantage of the appreciation of the assets, the precious metals, but you now have the ability to trigger a monthly income from those assets. Unheard of.
Yeah, absolutely. Gold, silver, palladium, platinum, those have always been recommended as a part of your portfolio. Yet most people don't touch it because they don't understand what it is. But if you can understand the basic concept, just like in real estate, you can buy a home, you live in it, you own it, it appreciates over time. You can also rent out a home and earn income while you're earning that appreciation. And so this is, again, a brand new concept, first time available to the public. But let me tell you, just like a lot of wealthy secrets, this has been done for a long time already, by some major Wall Street players. But this is the first time that you're going to have access to it, in amounts that are affordable and accessible to the everyday person.
Wow. I've had a chance to share this platform with a seasoned financial expert, 30 plus years in the industry. And he says to me that, Gerald, this is the most comprehensive financial platform ever offered to the general public. And when I think about what you just said there, when you talk about real estate, right, and this concept of the precious metals rental program, sort of works just like real estate, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And that's why it's the easiest way for people to understand it. And it's also a way for you to diversify, to have, me, 26 years on the air, 35 years in the business of real estate. And that's why I saw this as such a great complement to add to my quiver of products and services that my clients can have. In fact, later on, I'll even talk about how this has actually made my other businesses more accessible, more profitable, and just a source of new individuals. So, let's continue on. But this is a brand new. I said the company wasn't brand new, but this program right now is just launched now, and it's very exciting.
No question about it. So the ability now for us to go beyond appreciation, we talked about it. You could buy the metals, you could hold them, you take advantage of the appreciation. You buy it for whatever amount and then be in a position to sell it as it grows in appreciation. But now having those metals in your possession as a tangible asset is going to allow you to earn an average of 1 to 2% per month in passive income. That's 12% to 24% annually, Eric, on your MWR precious metals portfolio. And at the same time, with MWR's exclusive metal rental agreements, this again is unheard of.
Well, it's kind of interesting, Gerald, is that when this whole concept was presented to me, I listened. Okay. I reserved any comment. I kept an open mind. I wanted to see what theirs were going. But I noticed throughout the conversation, and you remember this, I would start smiling. I would see little things, nuggets in here. Think about this. I always talk about, one of the best businesses in the world is to be a bank, right? A
Yep.
bank, you deposit your money into the bank's accounts, right? And then the bank pays you 0 point nothing percent on an annual basis. On an annual basis, look at these precious metals, 1 to 2% per month. They pay you more per month than the banks will pay you per year. Okay,
Wow.
so again, I smile. But now listen to what the bank does. Does the money just sit there? No, they lend it out at anywhere between 7% or 6.5%, as today's mortgage rates are, all the way up to 35% in credit cards and so forth. And when those payments come in on those loans that they make, they lend them out again and again and again. That is why banks have the best real estate, the tallest buildings, the highest profits. And the wealthy do that as well. In fact, we talk about how we have our own private banking, vehicles within MWR as well. We may or may not talk about that tonight. All I'm saying is that when you listen to these things with an open mind and you're able to spot this opportunity, and all you have to do is say, well, what if that is true? We invite you to kick the tires, and we'll talk about how we have a no lose proposition, in our conversation here. But you can now get involved in precious metals without the expertise and the knowledge, the heavy hours invested in studying, without licenses, regardless of where in the 50 United States of America you are. You have opportunities that you've never seen before. And folks that are members of MWR right now are enjoying this and profiting.
No question about it. This precious metals rental agreement sort of, Eric, gives us an opportunity to sort of operate just like the bank does.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's a
And
big
uh
deal.
and they're insured, and they're, all of the proper paperwork and due diligence. You'll see MWR doesn't do anything that it's not doing right.
Wow. And guys, past performance doesn't guarantee future results, but we've got our hands on something. If you're tracking silver in half for the past 90 days, you've seen the transformation. So the idea is now to transform your future with precious metals by following our wealth plan. This is a wealth plan that we put in place. You can accumulate hundreds of thousands to millions, while simultaneously producing a six-figure passive annual income in 5 years or less. Eric, you mentioned it in 5 years or less. I love this plan simply because the plan that most of us have, I speak for myself and many others, is not going to get us where we need to be in 5 years or less. This is going to allow us to basically have money flowing while we sleep, travel, or enjoy the time with the people that we love, which is what we all want.
Exactly what we all want, but most people don't know how to get it. And that's why they just basically they get on the treadmill, right? The 40 40 40 trap, as they always talk about. Go to work 40 hours a week for 40 years of your life, and then end up retiring on only 40% of what wasn't cutting it when you were working full time. So this is a new, you actually have to look for new ways to do things.
No question about it. We better find another way to do things because, as you say, the current plan is not working, or the old plan has not worked, and so it is time to now to kind of think outside of the box. So don't have funds to buy silver. Here's the challenge that many of us are going to face, right? So if we don't have that money, MWR says no problem. How? I mean, or why is it not a problem? Because we provide three comprehensive solutions to fund your precious metal portfolio with or without using your existing finances, your own money, right? How do we do it? We start first by saving you money using our services and putting money back into your pocket. Or at the same time, we're going to help you generate additional income through the MWR business model. And we've got business funding sitting in the wings for those who want to speed up the process or need access. And each of these solutions are done for you or with you using our financial experts and team leverage. Does it make
And the
sense?
neat thing and the neat thing about this is that these are not exclusive. You can do one, two, or all three of these things. In fact, I recommend, maybe not all at once, but go ahead and put all three of these comprehensive income solutions. One of the neat things is as you learn how to manage your money, you also are learning how to manage your own business. There's a lot of education, financial education, which is what's lacking in our country. They don't teach it in schools. And by the way, I submit that it's by design because, our country is about to celebrate its 250th birthday. and we still don't have financial education in our schools. Here's the thing, Wall Street understands this, Washington understands this, but they're still not doing anything about it because everybody likes the status quo. And the wealthy like it, they'll pass it down from generations within their family. This is the first time that I've seen where access to sophisticated products assisted by experts, licensed, vetted, IRS enrolled agents, CPAs, CFPs, all proven and vetted now on speed dial that you don't have to worry about the meter ticking.
It's strong as thunder, my friend. Honestly, never been offered before. So let's talk about it. Solution one, income savings. You just mentioned it. Go over this for us and help us understand what the possibilities are.
Well, number one is, probably everybody here on this call already is earning some income, through your JOB, whether you're on commission, hourly or salary, you have income, and the government has its hands out in those situations. We have experts, we have tax reduction, instant pay raise. We have a number of programs where the CPAs are helping you how to structure entities, whatever tax advice you need. Like I said, you don't have to make decisions alone anymore. Our average member is saving anywhere between $700 and $2,000 per month. Per
Wow.
month. Let me just emphasize that. So 7 times 12, that's $8,400, $2,000 a month. And obviously, this program helps everybody at whatever level you're at, whether you have $2 in your wallet or $2 million in your bank account. Our experts help you keep more of the money you're already making. So imagine, you know, taxes account for about 30% of your income. Do you know that the Wall Street Journal published that the average American today is spending 34 and a half cents of every dollar earned on interest and finance charges? So you put the 30% of taxes, 34% of in interest. Most Americans are forced to live on about one third, the remaining one third, which of course big business is, marketing the heck out of you and sucking, vacuuming every last dollar out. Now that can end because you've got licensed, vetted experts to help review. You submit what your bills are. You know that we have experts whose sole job is to pick out and find out whether what you're paying per month is the lowest available by that company. And so often, without even switching carriers from your cell phone, your cable bill, and all these other, monthly bills. And that's how you get to $700 a month savings. If you could save that just on taxes by doing things the right way, filling your W-9 forms the right way, etc. So that's solution number one. And it's in play, it's proven. We got a page it's like an endless page of testimonials of people who are saving money right now, today. And now you can too.
Well, Eric, when I look at this and I think about what the savings have been for me personally, but if we have the ability to put an average of $2,000 a month back into your pocket from your existing finances, that's a pretty big deal, sir.
Absolutely. And in so many ways. So we can't cover all the ways that happen. It'd be like trying to tell you everything that Costco sells. But I'll tell you, I have an app on my phone that automatically tracks my mileage. And all I have to do every time I stop, my phone pops up and it says, was this a business or a personal expense? Just the write-offs that I get on the mileage on my car equal to that $700 a month, just to give you a starting point. And then I told you the story about when I called the CPAs because I was looking at setting up an entity. I wanted to set it up in an asset protected state anonymously. So, not in my state, but in another state. And they just escalated me to the right CPA who spent about an hour on the phone helping to explain which of the options, whether it's an LLC or a S Corp or, all of this stuff. You know what that would have cost me with my old CPA if I were to go in the office and sit down with him for an hour and a half and set up these structures? I would have had a nice hefty invoice at the end. And you know what invoice I got? Nothing.
Hey, membership has its privileges, sir. Let's go to solution number two. Now, I know this, like me, is one of your favorites, right? Because people say, well, what is it that really draws you to this opportunity? I'm going to be totally candid and honest with you. Show me the money. And it is that the opportunity to generate an unlimited amount of income, Eric, with a residual platform that pays out every single day from five to as much as $15,000 a day, anywhere in between. As you see here, Eric, 12 members pays you basically $600 a month. 12 people on your team. From 36 to 90 people pays you anywhere between 1,500 to as much as $3,000 a month. At that point, I think you've got somebody's attention. But look at 480 members. What does that do for you when you build this organization? You're talking about a six-figure a year income, and don't even mention 6,000 members, puts you well over $1 million. Listen, so the key to make this work, Eric, if I've got it right, is you just need to find a group of like-minded individuals who see what you see and are willing to hit the ground with you, lock arms, hit the ground with you, and look at what the possibilities are. Now, I'll let you review the revenue sharing plan because I know that this excites you too. You call this athlete's money.
I do, and I also call this the money menu. And this is really where you can look at. And remember, keep asking yourself, what if this is true? Okay. But first, I'll start only if you show me your ring.
There we go, my friend.
There he is. There's the six-figure income ring earner right there. So this is true. What if it was true? I can tell you it is true because Dr. Parker is living proof of that. One of the original members in MWR when it's in its inceptions. But when someone presented this to me, the guy right here next to me, and he showed me this menu, and he started going down and explaining that with only three people on my team, if I were to decide to build a team, now I don't have to build a team, but if I were to build a team, if I want to monetize this, and P.S., whenever I tell people about all of the services, they say, well, can I get that service? And can I share that? Would they pay me too? And the answer is yes. So I'll bet you right now in your phone, you have at least three people that if you said, hey, listen, I just came across a really great idea and a concept. I want you to come check it out. And if you like it, let's get together. Now, with only three people, only three. Now think about what business you could do with only three people that starts paying you $150 a month, $5 a day. Now, I'll be honest with you because when on the first line someone said, "Hey, you could make $150 a month," that does not move the needle. Okay, my real estate business is doing fine. I don't need another chore, but it's the package that I saw that really intrigued me. And now, if I were to help those three people that had the faith in me to join my team, get their three people, that goes from three all of a sudden to the 12 you talked about. $20 a day now instead of $5 a day, which is $600 a month, which that for many people is a car payment, could be a substantial part of a mortgage payment, could be the difference between positive at the end of the month or not positive. And we've done something very part-time. Remember, only three people that I found, but I helped them to repeat the same process. We'll repeat it one more time. Now you're at $50 a day. You see, I started watching the progression from $5 to 20 to 50. And go ahead all the way to the bottom, $15,000 a day. Okay, that's the part. And when I saw, I did the math, 15,000 times 12 is 450, $450,000 a month. Most people will never see that in a year or in several years. This is available. And I said, you know what? This is athlete's money available to the everyday person. Now, you don't have to do this overnight or in one day. I'll tell you that people advance those first three ranks from 5 to 20 to $50, generally speaking, in about 90 days. Some people run with it and go a lot farther, and faster. Mr. Fernando Ramirez, who's also on our call tonight, did it what in months. Okay,
Yeah.
he already achieved that level. So here's the cool part. This is solution number two: residual income. Oh, by the way, this is paid daily. Okay. So whether you're at the $5, the 20, 50, or 100 or $1,000 a day, every day you and I both smile when our phone goes off at a couple minutes after 5 when they notify us that our daily pay was deposited electronically into our account. And that's a nice feeling. This is a very strong, by the way, only one of about seven different income streams. But this is how, if you were looking for steady, stable income, one of the most generous compensation plans that I have seen in the marketplace, when a real estate mortgages or this business here. And so it's worth the extra look. And as I listened and watched them lay out the numbers, and I said, listen, it's only a matter of how hard you're willing to work or how hard you want to work. What income level would allow you to take a sigh of relief, take a breath, and say, you know what? If I had $150 coming in per day, that's $4,500 a month. That's 54,000. By the way, that's the average salary in America is between 50 and $70,000. People are achieving that in weeks and months, not in 10, 15, 20 years over the lifetime where they peak. And I just want to ask you, let's have a little bit of fun, Gerald. You and I both know someone at the $1,500 a day. Now think about
Right.
that. At $1,500 a day, that's $45,000 a month. $45,000. That's almost the average salary a month. And at that rate, you're at 500, $500,000. What changes in your life when you have that kind of residual income coming in?
Everything, my friend. The car you drive, the house you live in, the clothes you wear, where you send your kids to school. But here's another number that I think is important that you always highlight. 36 people on your team pays you $50 a day, $1,500 a month. What is the average Social Security income for the average American? What is it?
You know, they Yeah, they publish that every single year. And it's one of the things that I always highlight on my radio show. Do you know that today, the average Social Security check going out, the majority of Americans are getting about $1,600 a month in Social Security, which ironically is less than the average rent of $2,000 a month. So you see, there's something wrong with that program. But our members are reaching that in 90 days. Okay. Not the 40, 40, 40 we talked about. You could do that in as little as 90 days. And I'm telling you that what we're describing right here is not only a really cool and interesting business, a 100% IRS compliant business in a box that you can start earning a profit. Now imagine you could go out and start a business anywhere. Most people hope to break even their first year. We can show you how to turn a profit in as little as 30 days and then you're off to the races, Dr. Parker.
Wow. Self-fund your business in 30 days. Unheard of, but it happens here every day at MWR. Let's go to solution number three. We're going to put this thing on a fast track, Eric. How do we do it?
Now that's the leverage that we talked about. Imagine, okay, because you know that the wealthy are famous for using OPM, right? Other people's money. The banks are using your money, other people's money. The wealthy use the bank's money to accelerate what they do. So they find a formula that works. And we've told you several already tonight. And then what they do is they go and get financing and they use what's called positive leverage. In other words, they'll borrow at a lower interest rate and then earn at a much higher interest rate. You know, Fundable 360, our exclusive program that we have here, levels the playing field when it comes to finances. What they have offered, okay, within our program is a guaranteed minimum $50,000 in additional funding. And all of this is without your own personal credit score. It is not based on your personal. This is business funding. So it's not collateralized. You have no risk with this funding. Now, no risk doesn't mean no responsibility, but think about this with no personal credit risk, no collateral, no personal guarantees. What would you do if you had access to $50,000 and let your mind go? Here's the other thing I'll tell you. If you were to walk down into any business and walk in and said, listen, if I could show you how to get a guaranteed minimum $50,000 for your business, for you to use in any way that you wish, would you be interested in knowing a little bit more? And I'll tell you that the answer is going to be yes, every day of the week, 7 days a week, because that's what every business needs is additional funding because it's that additional funding which leverages their success in the business world.
No question about it. I mean, so that's three solid ways that we can help people get started with the investment vehicles as it relates to precious metals, the most complete wealth plan ever developed. As I mentioned earlier, the financial expert said again, the most comprehensive financial platform ever offered to the general public. So let's recap, Eric. Income savings, MWR experts optimize your finances to help you keep more of the money that you make. Put the money back into your pocket. We're going to help you create additional income with the MWR business opportunities. Allows you to add your income without limits. And Eric just talked about business funding. MWR Fundable 360 gives you access to the bank's money to accelerate your success. And then assets. When we start investing in precious metals, produce passive monthly income and appreciation, providing you with the savings, income, and funding you need to accumulate passive monthly income, producing assets all on one platform without you working any harder. So that's how you make wealth real, faster, and smarter. I think we've got a solid plan here, sir.
I think we really do. And the neat thing about it is, remember we said that this was 100% IRS compliant business in a box that you could literally open tomorrow, all turnkey with websites and marketing material. And PS, CFPs, CPAs in your back office. So everything that you need to start a business is right here in this package. But at the end of the day, right? And I have this sign over in my studio that I have a little bit over there, and it says income is the outcome that matters. And what we've showed you tonight is a number of ways for you to generate income and then be able to generate income on autopilot. Remember my third belief? You need to have multiple streams of income. And so whether it's rental properties, income from precious metals, never before heard about. But there's different ways, the residual income from the business side of things. These are multiple streams of income, and I saw it as a natural in what I do. And so if you know somebody that's a real estate agent, a mortgage broker, even a financial advisor, all of those require licenses. This does not. All of those are limited into the states in which they operate. This is not. And that's why it's a perfect complement for a business owner or any one of those people that I just mentioned.
No question about it. You've got access to millions of people who've yet to hear about it. So we talk about joining the community, how easy it is. It's simple to get started. Eric, we've got two options here. For those who are focused on just kind of using the services to get your financial life in order, there's a Lifestyle Legacy membership. That cost is only $149.97. Now, why is that so important? Because you mentioned earlier that time spent with the CPAs, you came out of there paying zero, right? Because it's part of your membership. We know the average cost of a good CPA financial planner in any city in America right now is $200 to $300 an hour. So, you mentioned earlier the fact that we're not being locked out of this process of gaining wealth. We've been priced out of the process. How many people can afford to pay $200 to $300 an hour? Now we offer you, for basically the price of a cup of coffee a day, all the tools and systems and experts that wealthy people have always had access to. No contract, no setup fee, and it includes a spouse. This is two people participating for the cost of one. And then option two, I wanted it all. I wanted not only the membership to use the services to get my financial life in order, but the opportunity to create a stream of income, an additional stream of income by being an MWR business owner. So my upfront investment was an additional $100, only $249.97. Now you mentioned basically you get an IRS compliant business in a box for $249.97. Hey, when you started your real estate business, could you do it for $249.97?
I couldn't get my license for that amount, let alone any part of the business. And here's the cool part about it. You talked about option one, right? The membership. This is the membership that gets you in the door, access to, literally hundreds of investment options. We've only covered a couple tonight, but this is where people get the financial edge, right? Everybody needs a financial edge to be able to get ahead and not lose money to the tax man, not lose money to the banks and interest and finance charges, not lose money in an everyday subscription, this monthly fee, that, and everything else, not lose money to inflation, because now you have a team. And by the way, speaking about a team, that membership of $149.97 is not for just one person, it's for two people at the same household. So whether it's husband and wife, domestic partners, father, son, mother, daughter, two people at the address. So cut that number in half when you think about it. All of those services, average savings $700 to $2,000 a month. Here, let me ask you this, and this is the way I look at it, Gerald. If I told you that if I said, Gerald, give me 149.97 a month and I'll give you back 700 to $2,000, would you be interested in that deal?
All day, every day, sir.
Right? So that's the membership, and it comes with a 30-day money back guarantee. They say that if our experts and our strategies don't put more money in your pocket than you spent on the membership, they'll give you a full and gracious refund. Now, take it to the next level. And this is what I said, you mentioned for $100 one-time setup fee, I get the websites, the back office, the accounting, all of that other stuff, and a business with all the marketing, with the training, and to be part of this community. For me, a lot of us will spend $100 in a weekend and still not have anything to show for it. Now you've got this business that now unlocks over 400 different tax write-offs, because there's two tax codes out there. No one talks about it, but there's a tax code for the employee, right, that gets the haircut right off the top. The government takes their share before you ever see your paycheck. On the other hand, business owners, remember I told you, Wall Street, Washington's in it, big business is in on it. They designed a IRS code version for business owners. And by the way, nobody ever said big business or small business. They said business owners. And this is how for $249, you can be a business owner, 423 different write-offs. And now instead of them taking the taxes off the top, you get the gross amount of the income. You subtract all of your business expenses and then pay taxes on the end. Oh, and did I mention this business comes with a CPA in the back office. So as you're making all of your decisions, you're conferencing with them. You're bouncing ideas off of the wall. When you think about it, this is one of the best bargains. In fact, it is the best bargain in the financial world, because where else in the world of finances, insurance, securities, stocks, bonds, crypto, do you have guaranteed outcomes like we talked about here?
Doesn't happen anywhere else, sir. If you think about a $249.97 investment, one, put you in business with the fastest growing financial strategies company in the country. That's MWR. Not only that, it puts us in the middle of a multi-trillion dollar a year industry, financial services. And Eric, we bring to the table a solution to the problem that many people face. The issue is finances. And the beauty of it is that you and I don't have to become the expert in any of these areas. All we do is offer the opportunity to people who need it. And we know that 98% of the people in this country need one or all these services or are interested in the entire program that we offer. It is unbelievable.
Well, you know what else I like about this business? In my business, I refer a lot of business out, right? I refer to appraisers, to title companies. I refer to all sorts of people. And in fact, in my business, it's actually illegal to get paid for those referrals. I also refer people to restaurants and to movies that I like, and they don't send me any money either. If you really boil this down, Gerald, what we're doing is that we're referring people to the experts. The experts are the ones that are licensed, experienced, and do all the heavy lifting. And they pay us a very generous referral fee, 100% legal, above the board. And as I said, not only that, but it has created more referrals back to me. Do you know, we didn't even mention another important part of our benefits. Do you know that included in the membership is credit restoration? Do you know that most people, and now I'm really referring to one of the areas that I know very well, and that is the importance of credit. Most people are locked out of home ownership because of their credit. Well, we have two programs in MWR. Number one is our Path to Home Ownership, our Keys to Home Ownership program. I mentioned earlier in when we started our presentation that this is a program that allows anybody, regardless of credit score, regardless of their past history, no matter where you are. We have a program that meets you where you are. If you want to be a homeowner, raise your hand right now, put a one in the chat, because I can show you exactly how to make that happen in as little as 30 to 90 days. That's our
Wow.
keys to home ownership program.
Yep.
And notice I said with no credit. However, we're going to show you that now, instead of getting good credit to get into a home, we're going to get you a home that's going to get you good credit, because your payment history on your new home will now be reported to the credit agencies. We have credit experts that are going to help you to fix up anything that's wrong on your credit, and it costs you nothing. People pay thousands of dollars for credit repair out there, and half of those companies are bogus and no good.
Yep.
Here you have vetted experts, and now you know why I got excited about it. And that's why, the 249 to have access to all of this stuff for me was just simply a no-brainer.
Well, listen, here's what I know from my experience, from what I've seen you do. It is an excellent tool to have in your toolbox if you're in the real estate business. No question about it. I mean, you'll never have to turn another client down at all ever again,
Never.
because you've got a platform to offer them to position themselves through keys to home ownership, credit restoration, all of those pieces that make it work, that stop people from being able to walk into a bank and secure traditional lending. As you always say, when the banks say no, we say yes. So these dreams now become reality because of this platform. And that's what's so exciting about what we bring to the table, ladies and gentlemen. This is it. No question about it. This is absolutely it. So let's move on, Eric, and wrap this up and let our folks go home tonight. But I'm telling you guys, I hope you're as excited as we are about what you've seen and heard tonight, because it is a big deal. No question about it. So again, accelerate your success with the bank's money, right? So let's move forward. A fundable 360, which is an option that would cost you $5,000 walking off the street to secure a service like that with MWR and exclusive membership, $2,995. And it allows you to earn money for referrals, as Eric mentioned. So as an MWR business owner, you can earn, from every business that you or your team refers, not just what you do, but what your team does, including your own MWR business. But guys, this gets even more exciting. So Eric, we're right down to it now. Here are the questions, right, that we must ask ourselves, and I want to see some participation from our people that are here tonight, our guests, and let's be honest with ourselves and answer these questions, right? So let's get back to it. Let me just back up this slide one more time, because this is some critical stuff right here. Question one: can what I'm currently doing outperform MWR's wealth plan without putting my money at risk? I say no. Question two: can what I'm doing right now give me the time freedom and passive income to enjoy it in 5 years or less? So if the answer is no to either of those questions, then your decision is already made.
Absolutely. And and most people don't even have a plan. Remember, I talked about my fundamental belief is you got to have a plan. You know, Documentation beats conversation all the time. When you don't have it written on paper, it's nothing but a dream. And MWR now is providing you a written financial plan. MWR is providing you with home ownership, and MWR has shown you multiple streams of income that are literally at your doorstep. All you have to do is answer the door when you hear the knocking. It's opportunity knocking right now. It is knocking. But if you don't open the door, what happens? Nothing.
Hey, nothing comes. Hey, the answer's on the other side of that door. Guys, Eric just told you your dream lifestyle is waiting. The person who invited you here is ready to help you get started today. We say don't wait, because every day that you delay could be costing you hundreds and even thousands of dollars in lost income, appreciation, and savings that we know we'll never get back. So if you've seen enough and heard enough tonight to join us on this mission, this crusade, this movement, on behalf of myself and Mr. Wilner, let us be the first to welcome you to the MWR family. And ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the presentation tonight. We told you we weren't going to be before you long, but wanted to provide you with some impactful information. And Eric, I hope that our audience got as much out of this as you and I have, because it's exciting to share it.
Yeah, no, we got some strong responses. A loud no, absolutely not. What they're doing right now, and it makes me think, my heart goes out to all of those 11,000 people who were laid off in Washington, D.C. at the beginning of the year. And now a new wave is coming for people. What people thought were safe and secure government jobs are no longer safe and secure. And who knows who's next? We've seen a lot of private, corporations laying off and slowing people down. And quite frankly, there's this silent, right? It's this silent majority out there that wishes if they could find a way to replace their, steady income. A lot of people are trapped by their own design because they got into debt and they, built up an expense, monthly expense base that now they can't afford to quit work, but the work is not going to get them to that financial independence. And that's why 80% of Americans retire depending on social insecurity. The maximum social security check that is even allowable is $4,000. Hardly half of it goes to rent, and the other two-thirds go, do the math, and the other two-thirds go to government and interest. So where's the money left to save and retire? There simply isn't any. And that's why you got to have a plan, and if it's not this, find something. But at least I hope tonight everyone became aware. Awareness is the important part because, you can't solve a problem that you don't know. And you know what else is really cool about this, Gerald? And
Yes, sir.
I thought about this in the beginning. What's the one conversation that everybody has every day?
Money.
Money, right?
That's
This is
it.
the easiest business to weave into a conversation because whether it's the price of eggs, the price of gasoline, inflation, interest rates, all these different things, all you have to do is say, well, a good thing in my business, I've got that taken care of. And you know what the next question is going to be?
How do I do
What's
it?
your what's your business? Now
Right.
you've got my attention. And so this is why this is a lot of fun, and I enjoy this. And by the way, thank you, Fernando. He put my little quote in the chat. Income is the outcome that matters. So take that to the bank.
No question about it, sir. I think it was and you can quote this one as well. Warren Buffett, who says what, Eric? And I think this is just like so true, and this is the reality of where we all are. If we don't find a way to create investments that will generate income while we're sleeping, then we're going to be forced to work until we die. And that is the sad reality of the great majority of people in this country today.
Yeah, yeah. And Warren said that as long as you're trading hours for dollars, you're going to die working until you have replaced that income with passive income. You know, we talked about this. These are not secrets, right? Or if they are, they're the worst kept secrets. We all know this stuff and we watch it happen right in front of us. The Elon Musks, the Bill Gates, and all these wealthy people doing it right out in plain sight. But do they teach it to the everyday person?
No.
No. And J. Paul Getty, well, is famous for saying, I would rather have the efforts of 100 people. Think about that chart we talked about. I'd rather have 1% of the efforts of 100 people than 100% of my own. And here's another big clue. Our community, we have an entrepreneurs reading club that we read business books and further the training. So there's a lot of business training that goes on in our business. And the neat thing about that is that there's something called the cash flow quadrants, right? There's the left side of the cash flow quadrants, the employees and self-employed people who are all trading hours for dollars and don't have the leverage. On the other side of the squares are business owners, right, who have leverage because business is nothing more than a system to deliver a good or services that's scalable, profitable, and doesn't require you or I to be there to happen that, right? McDonald's, when they invented McDonald's, they can now put, an oily face, pimple face little teenager to fry the burgers and do the French fries, and the system runs all day long, and the original owner and investor, he doesn't spend 16 hours a day there like self-employed people or even employees. But the fourth quadrant, the most important one, is the investor quadrant, where you're absolutely not trading your time. It's none of your time now involved, but the income comes in. And that's what Warren Buffett's talking about. And the fastest way to become an investor that can live off of their income is by having a business that funds your investments, that then funds your lifestyle. And it's that simple in life. That's the secret if people would only put it on paper and then execute it.
No question about it. Because that whole concept of trading time for money, let's just think about that. There's only 24 hours in the day. So it wouldn't even matter what you were making per hour. There's never going to be enough time in the day for you to generate the level of income to set you free. It's impossible. But again, all by design. But hey, listen, we've got an alternative, and that's MWR. And I'm excited to be a part of it with you, sir. Honored to serve with you on this platform every Wednesday night. Fernando Ramirez, thank you so much for setting this up for us and making it all happen. And we got some players with us tonight too, man. Randy Christensen out of Greeley, Colorado. Coach T, welcome to the platform, sir. Guys, Fernando, closing remarks, sir. Your thoughts.
I'm taking a lot with me. Tonight's conversation has been phenomenal, but this little quote kind of it really stabbed me because a lot of us can really understand things until we really start to digest it. Income is the outcome that matters. And it's so true, ladies and gentlemen. And working alongside each and every one of you, Eric and Dr. G.W. Parker, for the past 3.5 years has been a tremendous experience due to the fact that, I've learned so much from both of you. And the people that are closest to you will determine your level of success or your level of failure. So I'm honored. I feel honored to work alongside you guys. Tremendous leaders. Tonight's presentation has been phenomenal. So we're blessed to have you both doing our conversation tonight. That with me. Income is the outcome that I put that truly matters, Eric. Phenomenal, phenomenal quote. Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Make
Thank
it
you.
yours, brother.
Yes, sir. Guys, your mics are open. Please help me thank Mr. Wilner and Fernando for setting this platform up tonight. And we're looking forward to seeing you again here next Wednesday. Let's double our numbers. Everybody commit to bringing one. Let's get this message out and get it in front of as many people as possible. We've got to tell this story. It is us that's going to help save this economy and the lives of so many other people who are struggling in this area. We're bringing to the table the solution.
Love it. And speaking about sharing the story, I also want to extend a thank you, Dr. Parker, a gentleman, a scholar, a doctor in theology, speaker, and talk about sharing. He shares it on his platform nationally with the Kingdom Builders, an organization that he founded and started, now helping churches across the country to have a financial stewardship program, a way for them to help their congregation bring the literacy in there as well. And his latest project, now the author of the book, Get Excited or Stay Broke, where he shares how he got to the success that he has right now. So, on that note, thank you, Dr. Parker. It's been a great night, as it always is when we hang out together.
No doubt. I'm honored, Eric, and thank you so much, sir. God bless
But,
you. Looking forward to
but
seeing you
by the
soon.
way, on our reading club, that's the next book we're going to start reading once we finish reading the Cash Flow Quadrant. Can't wait. Looking forward to it. Dr.
Yes,
G.W.
sir.
Parker.
I am
Yeah,
too,
baby.
sir.
Me
Thank you.
too.
Good deal. I,
We
I
got
think
Jameson, as a matter
I
of
think
fact.
we
He was
had
raising his
Jameson
hand.
out there. Yes, sir.
Oh, thank you. I didn't want to just get in the middle of all that. I have a couple of little things here. One, I've heard it be called anyway money. So if I get sick, I get paid anyway. If I go on vacation, I get paid anyway. There's a book called The Richest Man in Babylon that talks about the
Yeah.
income. It's monthly guaranteed income. That's really the key to all of this. And the other thing is, I like to ask a different question. So I used to ask the question, can I afford it, or is it worth it? But then let's go backwards. Am I worth it? Or it's basically, am I worth it? Because can I afford not to?
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking at when I see this. Can I afford not to? And am I worth it? Because I have to turn the question around. Otherwise, I'm trying to evaluate it with the left side. I mean, the cash flow quadrant, the employee, self-employed side I'm looking at it from the left side, and if I look at it from the right side, it's a whole different conversation in my head. Thank
Wow.
you.
God bless you, sir. Thank you. It makes sense. And yes, Jameson, you are worth it. No question about it.
All
Well,
right.
folks, thank you again.
Thank you. We got
See the
CC Howard
comments,
saying,
Ms. Howard. What did she say?
she says, capital letters, thank you so much for being here for us who have been seeking, knocking, and asking.
That's a blessing. I had a chance
Great
to
stuff,
talk with
CC.
Mrs. Howard a couple nights ago, thanks to Robert Clay. So, Ms. Howard, welcome to the platform, and thank you so much for joining us. And we're excited to help you grow your business.
Go for it.
All right. Good night, guys.
All right.
Thank you
Dr.
again.
Take care.
Good night, guys.
Good night, everyone. Thanks again.
Get excited to stay broke forever.
Good night.
Cassandra. Good night.
Yes. Good night.
Good night. Good night.
Good night,
Good
CC
night,
Howard.
everyone.
Welcome to the
Good
family.
night.
Randy, good night.